Morning Date. You're joining us for another edition of Morning Date, and here with us in the studio today is Eva Yoo, back again this week to continue talking to us about her travels. She's a young woman who embarked on a cycling journey through Eurasia. 샹하이에서 런던까지 239일, 8,460km의 긴 자전거 여정을 마치고요. 유라시아 일주 자전거 편지를 출간한 유채원 작가님을 지난주에 이어 이번 주에도 모셨습니다. 유채원 작가, Eva Yoo. Welcome back to the studio.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed the recording last week and wow, it's really good to be back.
It's lovely to have you here. For those of our listeners who didn't tune into the show last week, could you introduce yourself once again?
Oh, sure. So currently I'm working in Seoul as a writer and public speaker. So I talk about doing business in China and also my cycling trips.
Yes. And last week we talked about how you weren't always a cyclist, if you will, or a traveler. You used to work in journalism and you worked in China for several years before you embarked on this journey. And there were several figures that really influenced you to do that. So why don't we just recap a little bit, go back to what we talked about last week. 처음에는 이제 중국에서 기자로 활동을 하고 계셨고 만났던 여러 사람들 중에서 이 자전거 여행을 떠나봐야겠다라고 영감을 줬던 그런 분들이 몇 분 계셨다고 들었습니다. 그 얘기를 다시 조금 해주실 수 있을까요?
Sure. So there were mainly two people who really inspired me. So first person is Sam Cruz, the Colombian friend who embarked his journey 6 months ahead of me. And when I saw him leave Shanghai on his bike, I thought, wow, I really need to do the same thing.
Yeah.
It felt so weird and my heart was pounding and I knew that I want to do the same thing. And the second person is Dominique Clark. She's a British she's a French lady who married to a British husband, and both of them cycled from Shanghai to UK, and they really inspired me to, because first my destination was Turkey, but seeing the couple who were 60-year-old, I thought, wow,
If they can do it,
I can
so
do it
can
too.
I. Yeah, wow.
So that's why, I followed their kind of destination to
That's
UK.
remarkable. But the big difference for me that stands out is that you have this couple, the British couple, they cycled together, and then you have the Colombian friend guy. But you did most of this journey on your own. And
yes, that's
isn't that,
right.
I mean, despite the world being a very, equal place for men and women, it can still be a bit more dangerous for women, can't it? To cycle,
I think it really depends. I mean, if you know how to react in dangerous situations, the thing that I have is that I really kind of try to make friends with locals and I ask for help when I need it. And locals are always willing to help you if you just ask for help
Right.
using Google Translate or just by gestures.
Wow.
And so I really want to encourage other people to start, and then you'll find a lot of people who will be actually helping you on the way.
정말 너무 대단하신 것 같습니다. 지난주에는 우리가 전체 여정 중에서 이제 중국을 출발하고 그 다음에 카자흐스탄, 아제바이잔 그리고 조지아 간 얘기까지 조금 얘기를 나눠봤었는데 그 중에서도 이제 중국을 빠져나오는 데는 일부러 좀 천천히 달리시고 뭐 좀 긴 루트를 택하셨다 이런 얘기를 해주셨고 도로가 포장되지 않은 길이 많아서 굉장히 힘들었다 이런 얘기를 해주셨잖아요. 혹시 타이어가 펑크나거나 그러는 일은 없었나요?
Actually, in China, the roads are really rough, should I say? And there's a lot of little parts coming out from mechanics. So your tires easily punk. So I had to change many inner tubes in China,
Really?
I guess 2 times in a month.
And you had received some sort of training beforehand, right? So you
Yes.
knew what to do.
Yes.
And you had all the equipment.
So when I got my bike sponsored from a Taiwanese bike company, they taught me how to fix the bike.
Right,
And
right.
also I was in a cycling club in Shanghai.
I
So
see.
both of them taught me in both Chinese and English.
Wow.
So
How long were you in the cycling club?
it was only 2 months, and I've been to their cycling kind of gatherings 6 times.
I see.
And I think it was just good enough. You just you don't need to train that much because you know that you have to take a long way. So it's just about learning the basics, I think.
그럼에도 불구하고 이렇게 아시아를 출발해서 유럽까지 자전거 타면서 혼자 가시는데 갑자기 타이어가 펑크 나고 하면 아무리 뭐 방법을 다 안다고 해도 당황하셨을 것 같아요. 저라면은 굉장히 놀래고 좀 무섭고 그랬을 것 같은데 뭐 어떻게 좀 시간이 지나면서 익숙해지셨나요?
Actually, I started the trip with a Chinese friend,
Yeah.
and he was very expert in fixing bikes
I see.
and dealing with problems with road and everything. So I think thanks to him, I could manage to kind of solve the problem
Right.
all the time. But after he left in the mid of the trip, I think it was about 4 months later after we started, he left. And from then I had to do it by myself.
Yeah. How was
But,
that?
Yeah, there were times when I couldn't kind of find the solution for the problem. But then there's a really good website that I really want to kind of recommend to cyclists
Yeah.
who want to do the same trip. There's a website called Warm Showers, and it's for cyclists who are traveling other countries. So the hosts in every country, they will open their house and welcome you to stay in their house for maybe 1 night or 2 nights. And since many of them are also cyclists, so in their home, they have basic kind of fixing kind of tools and
Yeah.
equipment. So they're very helpful.
아, 그렇군요. 사이클리스트들끼리 어떤 국제적인 망을 이렇게 만들어 놓은 그런 느낌인데요. 네트워킹을 했기 때문에 그나마 조금 수월하지 않았나 이런 생각이 듭니다. How many hours a day would you normally cycle non-stop?
So it really depends on the destination.
Yeah.
So I see the map and I need to first find a city or a town or a little village at least. And then I set up kind of the goal for the day depending on the weather and everything. So normally I will choose a destination maybe 80 kilometers from where I am.
Wow.
Or if the weather is bad or the road has a very high kind of inclining, then I would choose to just cycle maybe 60 kilometers. So it really kind of varies. But I guess on average, I cycled about 8 hours a day.
Okay.
And
And did you
average-
take breaks in between?
I did,
Okay.
but not much. I
Oh,
would
wow.
say, so for me, when I cycle 80 kilometers, because that's my average, then I will give myself a little goal. After you cycle 30 kilometers, I'm going to give you a banana. And after 60 kilometers, I'll give you an apple. So I always kind of, kind of kept on cycling until
Right.
I reached that goal.
그렇군요. 평균 하루에 8시간씩 자전거를 탔는데 30km 달릴 때마다 스스로에게 상을 하나씩 바나나, 사과 이렇게 주면서 그래도 가자, 멈추지 말자 이렇게 하셨군요. Wow, that's just remarkable. Well, last week we sort of rode to Georgia, if you will. So let's take things from there. From Georgia, you went to Turkey, right?
That's right.
Tell us about that.
So when I arrived in Turkey, I felt like, oh, I'm going kind of traveling back time because Georgia is much more like Europe, and Turkey is their religion is Muslim,
Yeah.
and people were wearing hijabs. So I first noticed that, oh, this country is a Muslim country.
I see.
And I noticed that the prices are very high compared to any other countries that I passed before. So I really noticed that, from here, I should be really careful with the budget.
I see. And I understand that something happened in Turkey, something that's mentioned in your book. What happened?
So what happened was that after I entered Turkey, I told my Chinese friends that we need to lower down the budget and I think we need to stay in tents from now on.
Yeah.
And we kind of quarreled over the route because he wanted to take the shortest route to Greece along the seaside, along the coast, but I wanted to see Cappadocia, which is really at the heart of Turkey, and I had to cross a lot of mountains to go there. And I didn't expect it, but one day my friend, he left me without telling me.
What?
So
He
that
just
was,
abandoned you like that?
yes, and
My
I
goodness.
didn't kind of I didn't know that's gonna happen.
Sure,
So I wasn't ready
sure.
for that. So
And whereabouts were you when this happened, when he left you?
so it's from that point. It's called a city called Trabzon, and it's where the route to Cappadocia starts. And when I went through the mountains to get to Cappadocia, I noticed that he chose other route along the coast.
I see.
And then he blocked all my contacts from WhatsApp, WeChat, email.
goodness.
So it's been a year and I still don't know where he is.
Wow.
But I'm sure nothing bad had happened to him.
Okay, yeah.
Because I saw his couch surfing kind of profile and I saw he actually kind of stayed on his route as well, along Greece to Italy to France.
Right,
But I don't know
right.
if he made it to UK or not.
Oh my goodness. Okay. And I understand that he stole something from you as well?
Well, it's that our cycling times were different. I had some minor sunstroke in China.
Oh dear.
So I had to cycle from midnight, like 5 a.m., and finish cycling before noon, especially in summer. And my friend, he wasn't a morning person, and he liked sleeping in the morning. So
Yeah.
he would cycle from 10 and he would get to destination at 4 p.m. So it was kind of natural for us to meet up at the destination
I
at
see.
5 or 6 p.m. and have dinner
Right,
together. So
right.
I didn't know this would happen. And actually he took he was taking care of the expensive equipment like bike computer, GoPro, hard drive, and Bluetooth music speaker and so on.
Yeah.
And so naturally, since I didn't know this would happen,
I see.
he had
so
all
he
the
disappeared
equipment.
and the equipment that he had naturally went with him as well.
Yeah.
아, 그렇군요. 같이 동행했던 친구 같은 경우에는 둘이 나란히 자전거를 탄 게 아니고요. 둘이 시차를 두고 따로 다른 시간대에 자전거를 탔다고 합니다. 유채연 작가 같은 경우에는 열사병으로 시달리고 있었기 때문에 일부러 해가 이게 중천에 떠 있는 시간을 좀 피해서 주로 새벽 시간대라든지 어두울 때 자전거를 많이 탔고 같이 동행했던 친구는 아침에 아니면 해가 뜨지 않을 때 난 자야 된다 이렇게 주장을 했기 때문에 주로 오후에 자전거를 타서 목적지를 하나씩 정하면서 우리 몇 시에 어디서 만나자 먼저 이제 유천 작가가 출발하고 이제 친구가 나중에 출발하는 형식으로 자전거를 탔었는데 터키에서 친구와 다툰 후 이 친구가 연락 두절이 되고 만나지 않았다고 합니다. 근데 문제는요. 중요한 장비들을 이 친구가 가지고 있었던 거죠. 그때 사실 다시 그냥 다시 돌아와야지. 포기해야지. 이런 생각 하지 않으셨어요? Didn't you think let's go home now?
Actually, I was already very independent from China because we have been cycling like that for over 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, but
so I
now
was
you
very
didn't have
used
your
to it.
equipment and everything. Didn't you think there's no point in continuing on? Didn't you think that?
I had my phone and laptop and I'm very minimal lifestyle person. So I knew that, I have everything that I need and I can just like go on.
You're a trooper.
And And I was very awake when it happened. I felt, oh, now it's on my own, and I just need to kind of stay awake and
right.
take care of myself.
아,
And
그래요.
so it was another way of learning. And
Sure.
actually, I'm still thankful to my friend who he cycled with me till Turkey, and from Turkey, because he taught me how to fix bike, and during that time he had taught me a lot of things, so I was already ready to cycle by myself. So yeah, I guess it was a good experience, both with my friend and after he left.
그렇군요. 터키에서 이렇게 친구와 우여곡절 끝에 헤어지게 됐지만 어쨌든 계속해서 난 가야겠다라는 생각에는 변함이 없었네요. Well, we'll talk more about your travels after Turkey. But first, we're going to take a song break. Here's Claire by Gilbert O'Sullivan. You're listening to Morning Date, and we're back with Eva Yoo. 유치원 작가와 오늘 Morning Date 얘기 나누고 있습니다. She quit a steady tech journalism job, and she decided to cycle from Shanghai to London. This was along the Silk Road route. She called the project Seek Road, as she was seeking to find the path or the route. And then your name, of course, also means to find the route, I understand.
The origin.
The
and
origin.
dream. Yes.
Well, we've cycled in our morning date so far up to Turkey. So let's take it from there. What happened next?
So from Turkey, I cycled to Greece. And I want to mention one thing about Turkey.
Sure.
It's that I really want Koreans, all the listeners on this radio, to watch a movie called Ayla, because it talks about a little Korean girl who lost her family in the Korean War, and Turkish soldier named Suleiman, he took care of this Korean orphan. And after the war, the two had to separate. And after many years, I think 50 or 60 years later, they met in Seoul. So it's a true story. It's based on a true story. And a lot of Turkish people actually watched that movie. And whenever they met me, they told me about Ayla, and they got very emotional, and they all said they cried when they watched the movie, the
Really?
Turkish people, because many of them, their dad or grandfather passed away in South Korea, so they really have deep emotions for Korea. And I think in return, we don't really recognize that. So apart from we have this relationship with Turkey, Turkish people were exceptionally nice to me, because I mentioned last week that I was rejected 10 times in Turkey and 5 times in Kazakhstan. But from Turkey, I didn't even have to ask locals to host me, because they were offering me tea first,
Wow.
and then they invited me to have dinner with them, and then they told me, "Oh, it's late now. I think it's better you stay with me." And they were all Turkish moms and grandmothers. They're like they're like Koreans. They're very warm people to the foreign people and the people who just like pass by. So I really want you to kind of watch this movie and realize our history with
그렇군요.
Turkey.
터키인들이 또 이제 한국인에 대한 그 애틋한 감정이 있다고 합니다. 이 역사적인 배경에 대해서는 아일라라는 영화를 통해서 조금 더 배울 수 있다고 하는데요. 실제로 터키에 가셨을 때도 그래서 사람들이 다 한국인이라는 이유만으로도 굉장히 따뜻하게 대해주셨다. 이런 얘기를 하셨습니다. How many days were you in Turkey then?
It was 32 days.
32 days. Wow, a month. Wow. And you still keep in touch with the people there?
Yes, I still keep in touch. And Turkey, I crossed over 14 countries, but Turkey is my favorite country.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Wow. 이 14개국 중에서 가장 기억에 남는, 가장 마음에 들었던 나라가 터키라는 얘기를 해주셨는데요. 저도 가보지는 못했지만 뭔가 유럽스러우면서도 중동스럽고 또 아시아스럽기도 하고 여러 가지가 섞여 있는 아주 오묘한 국가다 이런 얘기를 많이 들었습니다. 거기다가 또 한국인에 대해서 이렇게 호의적이라니 많이 가보고 싶네요. Okay, let's go on to Greece now.
Sure. So when I entered Greece, I really realized that this is Europe
Yeah.
because they were much more strict to cyclists.
Ah.
So they didn't allow me to cycle in the highway. It was very natural for me to cycle on the highway from
see.
China to Turkey, but from Greece, they wanted me to cycle on the countryways.
Yes,
and
that must have taken longer then.
yes, and that led me to another very dangerous accident that happened later. So I think when cyclists enter Greece, they should remind themselves that they need to stick to the smaller trails.
I see. What happened?
So when I was cycling the highway, I think it was a policeman. He stopped me from a police car,
Yeah.
and he told me I shouldn't follow this highway and I should follow the countryside road. And so I had to take the countryside road, and it was much longer than the other one. So it took me more time to cycle. And then while I was cycling, I saw later I learned that he was a gypsy, but he was a guy was following me with a motorcycle. And because it was countryside, there were no people around me
Sure.
nor houses.
Oh, wow.
And it was getting dark. So I got very scared, and I was totally terrified when he actually touched me and passed me with a motorcycle. And I screamed like really loud, but
There was
nobody
no one
could
there.
help me.
Yeah. Oh, my
So
goodness.
I thought he just like left me just like that. But when I stopped my bike to take a picture of the river, I noticed that he was following me again. And at the time, I thought, oh, if I don't take action, something might happen. So I stopped my bike and waited for a car to pass. And 2 cars passed me after waiting like 5 minutes. Only 2 cars, they just like passed me. I tried to stop them, but they didn't. And finally, a very small car passed by, and I stopped that car, and I hitchhiked on that car and went to the next little town. So that was,
무서우셨겠어요.
I guess that was the most dangerous moment of
네.
the trip.
터키까지는 이제 고속도로에서 자전거를 탈 수 있었는데 그리스에 들어가서부터는 고속도로에서 자전거를 타면 안 된다라는 경찰의 얘기를 듣고 지방도로로 달리게 됐었지만 거기서 굉장히 위험한 좀 아찔할 뻔한 그런 일들이 있었네요. 다행히 뭐 큰일은 생기지 않아서 정말 다행인데 정말 굉장히 무서웠을 것 같습니다. 다행히 히치하이킹을 해서 그 다음에는 이제 도시 쪽으로 가고 거기서부터는 다시 자전거를 타신 건가요?
Yes.
Okay.
And I want to mention another thing that cyclists should be aware of. It's that the number one reason why cyclists die on the road is because of wild dogs
Really?
in Turkey and Greece. And you might get used to a lot of pigeons in Korea, but in Turkey and Greece, especially in Greece, there's a lot of wild dogs.
Really?
And they're very huge, and you see them everywhere.
They must be like wolves then, I guess.
Yes.
Right?
And actually one cyclist was killed in Greece because of those wild dogs. Now they have fence to protect the dogs from
이건 또 몰랐던
people.
사실이네요. 그리스에서는 야생개가 굉장히 많다고 합니다. 그래서 그 사이클리스트들의 사망 1위 요인 중에 하나도 그 개한테서 물려서 그렇다라고 했는데 그런 일은 없으셨죠?
Oh no, that
Okay.
didn't happen to me. And you should know how to behave yourself. You should stop your bike and let the dog sniff you, and you should move as slowly as possible.
Don't run away. Because they can probably catch up, I would imagine.
That's right.
그렇군요. 이제 만약에 야생개가 보인다 그러면 굉장히 많대요. 이 숫자가 많은데 그때는 도망가려고 하지 말고 오히려 멈춰서 개들이 다가와가지고 이제 냄새를 좀 맡게 해주고 그 다음에는 물러섰을 때 그때 다시 달리는 게 더 좋군요. Oh, that's a good tip for any future cyclists out there. And then you went on to Albania.
Yes. So in Albania, I have a very special memory
Yeah?
because I arrived there in mid of December and I thought, oh, they wouldn't be any cyclists by now.
Yeah.
They might be home enjoying the warm fireplace. But I met 6 cyclists in one warm shower host's house. And so there were total 8 cyclists in one house.
Wow.
And that was really fun. So
I bet you had so much to talk about.
yes, we had so much different stories to tell. They were from all different countries.
Wow.
And one of my sponsor was a microphone company. So we sang carols. That was like 2 weeks before Christmas. And wow, it was so much fun. And because they had so much different stories to tell.
Yeah.
Two of them were singers. One of them were working at ski resorts, and wow, it was really interesting night.
그렇게 좀 힘들고 무서운 날들도 있었지만 알베니아에 가서는 다른 사이클리스트들을 이제 한 곳에서 만나게 돼서 굉장히 반가우셨겠어요. 근데 아까 마이크 얘기를 잠깐 하셨는데 스폰서 받은 여러 가지 물품들 중에서 이 마이크를 스폰서링 해준 회사가 특별히 요구한 게 있었다면서요?
Oh yes, it was one of my first sponsors, and they wanted me to sing a song every week. So like once in a week, I should use the microphone to sing a song, and I didn't actually use it much because I didn't want it to make noise in a host's house.
Right.
But when I really needed it, and when I noticed that my host really liked to sing, and then I will actually have a karaoke 노래방 with them.
그래요. 그래서 이 자전거 여정을 시작한다라고 얘기하면서 여기저기서 많은 후원을 받았는데 그중에 마이크를 제공한 회사에서는 일주일에 한 번씩 꼭 이 마이크를 사용해서 노래를 부르고 그 영상을 올려주세요 라는 부탁을 했다는 게 너무 재밌습니다. 매주 노래 부르면서 좀 이게 흥에 겨운 그런 분위기도 만끽하셨을 것 같아요.
Yes, some days I sang like really happy songs, and some days it really helped me because you know Koreans have a lot of kind of sorrow or han in their minds, and sometimes it helps you to release that.
그러니까요.
So
스트레스
it helps
푸는데도
me.
도움이 됐을 것 같고 근데 또 노래 부르기 싫은 날도 있었을 것 같고 그렇습니다. 자, 그래서 이제 크로에시아가 바로 다음 행선지였는데요. What happened there?
So what happened in Croatia is that my phone broke down totally.
Oh
So
no. Did you
I
get a new
didn't-
one in Croatia then? What
I tried to
happened?
fix the phone in both Croatia and Montenegro, but both repair shops told me, "Oh, I think it's totally broken and there's no chances to
Oh, no.
repair it." And so they told me to buy a new one, but I wanted one brand that I always used, and to
And they
buy
didn't have
that
it.
brand, yes, I had to cycle 7 days.
Oh, dear.
So
All
I
right.
cycled 7 days in Croatia without phone, just watching the signs.
Wow.
So Croatia is such a beautiful country with all that cliffs and red roofs. Beautiful, but I don't have many pictures
그때 굉장히
from
불안하셨을 것
Croatia.
같아요. 네, 사진도 사진이지만 전화기 없이 7일 동안 자전거를 타야만 했던 크로에시아에서 사실 무슨 일이 생기면은 연락할 길이 없으니 그때 좀 불안하시지 않으셨을까 그런 생각도 듭니다만 역시 긍정적인 작가님이시다 보니까 너무 아름다운 이곳에서 사진을 못 찍은 게 아쉬웠다. 또 이렇게 말씀을 해주시네요. 자, 그러면은 우리 노래 한 곡 듣고 와서 그 다음에 크로에시아 다음으로 갔던 프랑스 얘기를 좀 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. This is Above Envy, Fly Away. We're back. This is Morning Special. We're talking with Eva Yoo this morning, who biked through 14 countries over the course of 239 days. on her bicycle. In fact, it wasn't just one bicycle, though, because you did have to get a new one at one point. Was that during your time in Europe?
Yes, that's right. So when I was in Milan, it's a notorious country for stealing bikes and
Yeah.
everything. And that
Did someone
actually
steal your
happened to me.
bike?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
So it was actually day before New Year's Eve, December 30th. And while I was watching Duomo Cathedral, somebody stole my bike. And I really considered, should I go back home from here?
Yeah.
Because it was such a good excuse. Somebody stole my bike, so I couldn't cycle all the way. But I thought, this is my dream, and I want to finish the trip in London. So what I did was, with my friend's help, in Milan, we looked for a secondhand bike, and I managed to find one. So I cycled with that secondhand bike, and later I brought it back to Korea. So I
did
still
you?
cycle with it.
아, 네. 그래서 이제 프랑스에 이어 이탈리아에 가서는 자전거를 도난당했다고 합니다. 그것도 New Year's Eve, 12월 30날. 어떻게 보면은 서양에서는 제일 큰 명절 중에 하나인 이 New Year's, 그 기분 좋은 행복한 그 시절에 자전거가 없어져서 포기할까? 돌아갈까? 고민을 좀 하셨지만 결국은 중고 자전거를 다시 구하셔서 역시나 씩씩하게 계속 가셨군요. 그럼 이탈리아 다음에는 where did you go after that?
So it was actually January. So I couldn't cycle over Alps. So I had to
Yeah.
take a bus ride from Milan to Geneva
Okay.
in Switzerland.
Yeah.
And from Geneva, I went through France. And when I was in France, it was snowing. So it was actually
wow.
very tough to cycle when it was snowing.
Yeah, was
But
it snowing heavily?
Sometimes
Or-
it did, and it was like I had 20 kilometers left, and it started to snow, so
dear.
I had to speed up.
Yeah, yeah. Because I
But-
mean, snow's only good to look at when you're indoors
Right.
and looking outside.
That's true.
Not great to drive in, whether it's a car or a cycle. 스위tzerland를 통해서 그다음에 이제 프랑스에 가셨고 거기서부터는 그다음에 영국까지 뭐 채널 터널을 통해서 가셨나요? 어떻게 뭐 배를 타셨나요? 어떻게 하셨나요?
There's actually ferries from France to UK.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the one I took was from Dieppe in France to New Haven in UK.
아하.
So actually, I took total 3 ferry rides on this trip to Caspian Sea, and from within Turkey, there's a little sea that you have to cross with ferry, and the third one is that.
I see. 연말 연시를 이렇게 유럽의 여러 나라에서 보낸 거나 마찬가지일 것 같은데요. 뭐 구체적으로 말하자면은 New Year's Eve와 New Year's Day는 이탈리아에서 보내신 것 같고 그렇지만 그 즈음에 프랑스, 스위tzerland 그리고 이제 마침내 영국까지 가셨는데 그때 유럽의 분위기는 왜 굉장히 축제 분위기고 사랑하는 사람들과 가족과 함께 보내고 이러잖아요. 혹시 좀 우울하거나 아니면 나 혼자 자전거 타는데 너무 힘들어 이런 기분은 안 드셨어요?
Wow, yeah, you mentioned it. So actually, it was very hard to find host in Christmas because
Yeah.
everybody wants to stay with their families. And remember, I mentioned about Dominique. So she finished her trip in 4 months and a half, and she was already in UK. And she had a friend who lives in France, and so she invited me to join the Christmas party. So I
that's
spent
nice.
Christmas with Dominique's family, and wow, it was amazing because I felt like, wow, I have my family in Korea, but also I have a family in Europe. So it was such a memorable Christmas.
I'm so glad you didn't spend it alone. And then, of course, your final destination, England. How long were you there for?
It was about 10 days.
Okay.
I was in UK, and I felt while I was arriving in London, it was the last day of the trip.
Yeah.
And I felt so weird because I didn't feel like I reached the destination.
Yeah, it must have been quite surreal.
So it's another foreign country and a foreign city. And I couldn't believe it was the end. And so what I thought at the time was that, oh, this is not the end of the trip.
Yeah.
I should go back to Korea and I should finish the trip in my home.
I see.
So that's why when I reached London, I thought I should bring back the bike
I see.
and I should
아하.
cycle. back
애초에는
home.
이제 샹하이에서 런던까지만 가는 것을 계획하셨는데 런던에 도착해서는 약간 믿어지지가 않았다. 조금 뭐 허무하기도 하셨나 봐요. 이게 다야? 약간 이런 느낌. 물론 굉장히 긴 시간 동안 자전거를 타셨지만 그래서 마무리는 유종의미는 한국에서 걷어야겠다. 이런 마음으로 자전거를 가지고 이제 물론 비행기를 타고 돌아오셨지만 귀국을 하셨어요. 그리고 귀국하고 나서도 이제 자전거를 탔다는 얘기를 들었습니다. 어디서 어디까지 자전거를 타셨나요?
It was from Incheon Airport to my home in 강동구 둔촌동.
몇 시간 걸렸나요, 그러면?
So that's like
두세 시간 넘게 걸리죠? 얼마나 걸리나요?
So what I did was that I had to dismantle the bike
Yeah.
to put it in the airplane.
Sure.
So what I did was that from the airport to my aunt's house in near the airport, I brought back the bike and I had to put all the parts together.
Yeah.
And to my home, that was like 67 kilometers.
Wow.
So that's how I came back home. And that was Korean New Year's Day, 설날. So
Was
it was
it?
such a lovely welcoming party with all my
Wow,
family
what a
members.
fantastic ending to your trip. 인천공항에서 이제 강동구까지 한 6, 70km를 또 자전거로 오셨고 그렇게 함으로 인해서 또 마침 설날이었는데 드디어 끝냈다. 마무리를 하셨다라고 말씀해 주셨습니다. 와우. 그래서 이제 1월 달에 귀국을 하셨는데 지금 벌써 여러 달이 됐어요. 요즘은 어떻게 지내시나요? What do you do these days?
So I just finished my book. It was published 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I'm going on kind of public speaking with my book. And yes, I'm still kind of preparing my next journey.
저도
because-
소셜
yes.
미디어에서 제가 팔로우를 하거든요. 근데 유 작가님의 그 포스트를 보니까 요즘 너무 바쁘시더라고요. 강연도 많이 하시고 또 취미 생활도 좀 하시는 것 같아요. 춤도 추시고 살사 댄싱 너무 멋지십니다. 오늘은 이쯤에서 마무리를 해야 될 것 같고요. 이렇게 멋진 여행 우리와 함께 얘기 나눠주셔서 너무 감사합니다. Thank you so much, Eva.
Thank you so much for inviting. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Well, have a great weekend and I hope to hear more from you again in the future. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was Eva Yoo. 유치원 작가와 함께 모닝데이트 얘기를 지난주와 이번 주 나눠봤습니다. We're going to have to wrap up the show now. It's already time for me to say goodbye. Our last song is Walk the Moon, Shut Up and Dance. Sometimes that's exactly what we need to do. Have a great weekend, everyone. Join us again tomorrow.